is at the start of all food production. At the very beginning of the food supply chain are seed companies whose work is to breed, produce, and distribute seeds of agricultural, horticultural, and ornamental plant species. Many of the Sustainable Development Goals are linked to agriculture. This year, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres will convene a Food Systems Summit as part of the Decade of Action to achieve the SDGs by 2030. In this first episode of Stories from the Ground, we will hear how in different parts of the world, like the Americas, Asia and the Pacific, and Europe, plant breeders are creating innovations that help feed the world and help protect and restore the earth. Wheat is consumed by 2.5 billion people in 89 countries and is an important source of protein in low and middle income nations. Over the years, breeding of field crops such as wheat has led to substantial improvements in yield, quality of produce, and resistance to disease and abiotic stress. In the German town of Rosenthal, plant breeders of Limagrain are at work improving wheat varieties.
My name is Johannes Schacht. I'm a wheat breeder for Limagrain exactly since 20 years this year. And I'm responsible for the Limagrain wheat breeding in Central Europe. In wheat breeding, we have to work on more than 35 individual traits and have to try to combine them in the best possible way. And a lot of these traits are really classical traits, like the agronomic traits. So in Central Europe, we need a certain degree of winter hardiness. We need straw stiffness, so the variety should not lodge. And also we need earliness of the varieties with regards to their phenotypic development. Secondly, it's diseases, and since decades, breeders have increased disease resistance in wheat. That is mostly rusts, yellow rust, brown rust, stem rust. It's leaf septoria, it's fusarium, it's mildew, and some minor diseases. In Europe, we produce a lot of wheat, especially bread wheat for export. So these wheat varieties need to match the certifications of the industry, and there's more than a handful of those specifications. And last but not least, probably for the farmers, the most important trait is grain yield. And it's not only to make the crop economically of value for the farmers, which grow our varieties, but also we have the challenge that we need to feed the world and to meet the global demand on bread wheat. In Europe, in principle, we live in very good agricultural conditions. So I think one thing we have to do, we have to keep the yields stable and on a high level in Europe. But the wheat consumption to feed the world, of course, includes other continents. So Limagrain has wheat breeding programs on almost all continents now. We have various breeding programs in the Northern Americas, but also in the Southern Americas. We are breeding in Australia, where there's also a lot of heat and drought, and we are also breeding in the Mediterranean, so from Spain to Turkey.